Strictly music, though, right?
Yeah.
You know what you were going after. Philosophy, you can come back and teach his kids that are learning instruments philosophy. That might work. So where do you see yourselves in 4 years after college? You ever give that any thought? Because I know I never did at your age. Just curious if any of you ever give it any thought where you'd be after college.
Well, it's a little harder for me since I'm unsure, but I'm just hoping that by that time, when I'm done with college, I know what's meant for me. I know what I want to do. I know what I love to do, because I have my passionate hobbies like, bass playing. But there's something that I just don't know what I want to have as my career. So I'm just hoping I'll be involved in that,
I just plan to be a music teacher, establish like a good reputation as in a student would come up to me, oh yeah, that's my music teacher, he's taught me so and so, and they'd always want to like recommend me as a good music teacher. I want to try to pursue giving private lessons also.
Now, being a music teacher, and there are some kids you'd work with who it's going to click, right? And then some kids who just are not going to get it no matter what you do. I mean, I'm one of those kids who just don't get music. So, I mean, I was never musically inclined. So I always struggled through music education, period.
Well, I think that no matter...
I wish I didn't, but I did.
I think no matter how much you struggle, if you just have the right teacher and you just taught the proper methods, and then you just have that that drive that you can learn anything. It just takes time and effort.
You believe that too, Marcus?
Yeah, music is a universal language. You just have to find what music instrument. It may not be just music itself. It may be the instrument that you're pursuing. But there's always an instrument for everyone.
Yeah, good to know. So you're participating in our Constituents Task Force program at City Hall this year.
Yeah.
Something we do every couple of years in the city. We go out and we ask constituents what's on their mind. And hopefully they come back with information, and then I review all that information during the course of this, and we try to assign city resources based on the answers to the questions. Now, you're just starting, so what do you think of it so far?
So far it hasn't been too hard because we haven't gone out yet. We're actually going to go out today. But we've been preparing everything. We've been preparing all the letters that have been sent out and all the stuff we're going to do. And then when we go out, we're going to try our luck and see what happens. And I'm just expecting a lot of good things though. So.
What do you think, Marcos?
Yeah, Julian says we've done a lot of preparing, like sending out letters, because when we go there, people are going to be like, who are these people knocking on our doors?
Oh, we have to send a letter first so they know that you're
Yeah, so they know we're coming.
Yeah.
And so I just hope everything goes well, and I'm expecting a lot of positive results.
So how'd you find out about the task force?
Well, I applied in school just to have a summer job, and then a task force representative called me up and said, oh, do you want to come in and explain to me what the job was? I was like, it sounds interesting. So I went in for the interview, and I was like, okay, I'll do this.
Good. And
it was actually during graduation practice. Mr. Mazza, the guy who, I don't know what his...
he's a councilman.
Yeah. And
he's a councilman along with Frank Quester. They're both
Yeah.
on the city council together.
And in the high school, I don't know exactly what his position title is, but
he works hard in making sure that kids can move from one area of life to another. I mean, he really does help transition, I guess is the right way to deal with it.
Yeah, he deals with a lot of like field trips and stuff like that too. But he came up to me at the end of practice and he was like, "You have a summer job?" And I'm like, "No." And then he's like, "Okay, well, do you want one?" I'm like, "Sure." And then he told me about the task force. So that's pretty much what happened.
Because we try to hire a lot of kids from the summer. Believe it or not, I'm the mayor, but when I was leaving college or in a college, I worked for the city for a summer at a recreation site. So I know what it left on me as having the opportunity to work for the city for a summer, that I've tried to expand this program in different areas and give kids, we have some kids in finance, some in task force, some in recreation. So we have them all over the place. So hopefully you'll get a feel for what goes on in that office. It must be exciting to go knock on doors and figure out what the community wants to know. You might find some negative things too, which is, more importantly, we need to hear the negative things so we can address those answers. So you got to write down the negative stuff too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because then this way we can address the resources that way. have you ever done anything like this door-to-door program before? Have you ever?
Besides selling candy, no.
Nah.
Well, you sold candy as a kid, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're gonna. But in that case, you always knew the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this case, you're not going to know the people you're knocking
Yeah.
on the doors.
This is gonna be an experience.
Yeah.
I really think it's gonna be new.
And when you do this, it's kind of like, it's interesting because some people are going to welcome you and be very candid with you, and some people are just going to say, "Why are you bothering me?"
Yeah.
So, and those people you have to be just as nice to as the people who engage you in conversation.
Yeah. You can never blame them either because we all do the same thing when
Yeah.
people come to, our doors. Sometimes we just cranky. You just don't want to, go down, open the door.
I can't believe you two young guys could ever be cranky. You know.
Well, we like sleeping late. So.
And besides the task force, what are you going to do this summer, Marcos?
This summer, I plan to get in a lot of practice on my instrument before college, so I'm ready. Because it's going to be a different experience, harder. And
What do you, do you set hours aside during the course of the day to practice?
no, it's usually when I pick up my instrument until I put it down. That's how I practice.
So you kind of like, I feel like practicing now. It's not like I'm going to practice at 6 till 9. It's
No,
like,
you can't really time practice, because when you practice an instrument, it's when you feel like you've accomplished something, that's when you feel like you're good for the day. You can't just put in a certain time, because from 6 to 9, you might not have the part that you wanted so well, so then you'd have to put in extra hours to get it right.
now, one of the things, do you experiment with your own music type of thing, or do you just play notes from sheet music?
Oh no, there's a lot of experience. Music is a creative art. So whenever you pick up an instrument, you might not always play what's on the paper, because you might want to experiment, see what sounds right to you, and like that.
Can you hear your own music?
Yeah, of course. Well, when you're in a large orchestra, though, it can be very hard to hear yourself, especially if you're playing with a band. The brass, the trumpets, and the horns are always very loud.
So it'll be difficult to hear your own music in that situation, but
Yeah.
playing it alone, you can hear your own
You
music,
can-
and you can know where it moves or what it's trying to convey.
Yeah, you can always hear what you're playing, whether it's your own music or someone else's. You can always hear you, and it goes beyond just hearing. You have to be able to listen to. You have to be able to listen to what the rhythm. If you're playing the rhythm correctly, or if you're playing the notes correctly. Because when it comes to string instruments, it's very hard to be in tune, all the time, perfectly in tune. So you got to listen a lot.
So that's part of the practice, is to be in tune with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Another thing with practice is that practice just makes habit. Perfect practice makes perfect. So if you
Now-
practice the wrong thing, you'll be playing the wrong thing.
You're packing up for college in August, right?
Yeah.
And you're looking forward to that, getting away. You're going to room
Yeah.
up in Poughkeepsie, right?
Yeah.
So what do you got? You're going to work? You got a part-time job at college planned at all, or you're being able to handle?
Yeah. Yeah, I signed up for student employment already. They give you a list of jobs, and you put down like the top 5 that you're interested in. And I'm pretty much insured a job since I had financial aid. Anybody for Vassar, if you have financial aid, you're guaranteed a job. Not a specific job, but you're guaranteed a job no matter what.
Is there something similar in Montclair for that, or
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm still trying to apply for one.
for a job of somewhere
Yeah.
in Montclair? Okay, good. Well, I want to thank the two of you guys for coming on the show. We didn't even take a break. We went right through because of the interesting comments you both had. And,
Thanks.
I look forward to seeing you during the task force. I'll probably walk with you one night and get a little feel for what you're doing. I did that the last time we did it a couple of years back. And wish you well. I wish you well in
Okay.
college and especially in your musical careers.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to join us on the show.
All right,
Okay,
thanks.
thank you.
Thank you.
For Marcos and Julian, I'm Chris Bolwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.